Good thing, we better get it.
Most people, most people can't jump out of an aircraft because they look down, and if you're on a 20-foot building and you look out in the horizon, you can jump out into space. But once you look down, you freeze. And that's what happens to a lot of jumpers that go to jump out of an airplane. They look down and they can't move. And they're very harsh on, if you as a jumper were qualified, you qualify after 7 jumps. And if you go up in the airplane and you don't jump, they put you right into the guard room. That's what they used to do, and take your $30 pay off you. That's what we got. By the time we got that pay, we got $21 after they took the income tax off.
Were you trained as airborne troops?
After the war, yeah, with the PPSLI.
After the Second World War?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever jump in conflict?
No. Bad enough jumping out of the airplane with lots of guys.
Jumping into enemy territory.
Our airport was right over here. You know, right on that, where the farmer's market?
Right here where the museum is, yeah.
That's where we used to take off, and that road was our runway. And those hangars was where we met to get on the aircraft.
Oh, of course.
And I landed one time, and the officers' mess is back towards the other way. I landed in their garbage pit behind the officers' mess.
Were you ever injured?
Not jumping. I had a sore back one time, but recovered. And we used to go out to Sarcee for most of our training.
On the hill?
Point F, right? The high ground up there.
Yeah. So when you enlisted in the Army the first time, that was for service in World War II.
1942, yeah.
How did your parents feel when you joined up at 17?
Good. They were quite over on the farm, and I worked in a steel mill after I quit school after grade 9. And we're making tank lugs. And all the young guys were joining up, or some of them weren't joining up. And we thought it was our duty. Me and my brother joined up at the same time.
How far into the war was that? What year were you joined up?
1942. I didn't go over until 43. I spent most of my time in training in Portage la Prairie and Shallow. And the funny thing, my brother and I went over on the same ship from Debert, Nova Scotia.
From Dartmouth or from?
Debert.
Oh, okay.
Near Halifax, that's where we were.
I see.
Yeah.
And do you remember where you landed?
Yeah, Greenock, Scotland.
In Scotland.
Yeah. And I was kept on board for security, like looking after the thing and loading baggage. And my brother, I didn't know he was on the ship until the second night at sea. It took us 6 days to get across Greenock.
How was the journey?
Rough. It was this big ship. The Ile-de-France was a big passenger liner.
You were on the Ile-de-France.
All battened down. You couldn't go on deck. No lights, just full speed.
Were you with a convoy?
Yeah. No, we're on our own because it was faster than most of the ships. In 6 days it made it.
Is that right?
And I came back on the same ship.
What a coincidence.
I wanted to come back on the Queen Mary because I went to New York. And,
Did they send you to Aldershot?
yeah, that's where I got deported from. The Aldershot riots. You hear about that?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Well, they were bad. I was AWL for 1 day, and I came back to the camp. And they said, get your duffel bag and get aboard the ship. You're going on the Queen Mary back. So we went down there. The Queen Mary was gone. They put us on the Ile-de-France.
So your experience in Aldershot then was after the war was over?
Yeah.
You hadn't been there before when
No.
when all the Canadian troops were there training?
No, I did most of my training around Brighton and Worthington. And I don't volunteer for anything anymore because I was down at Worthing, minding my own business. This is after Dieppe and all that was over, you know. And the Queen's Own Cameron Highlanders, another Manitoba outfit, was stationed at Worthing. I minded my own business there, and an officer from the sergeant from the Winnipeg Rifles came down, and they want volunteers for the motor platoon and for drivers and motorcycle rider. Oh, well, then we put his hand up, and that's how I ended up with the Winnipeg Rifles. Right on.
So you didn't go over as a member of the Winnipeg
No,
Rifles?
no, just like them days you're in, just a soldier of any Canadian Army soldier, that's till you got to unit.
Reinforcement, and
Yeah,
then you were
that's right.
placed.
Yeah,
And so when did you go into action with the Winnipeg Rifles?
D-Day. Landed like the second, not the very first group, but we landed in the bigger ships.
So you knew what you were up against if you weren't the first group.
No.
How did you feel?
Well, it's like a bad dream, you know. We were trained, that's the good thing about discipline. You don't know what the heck's going on, and you carry out the order, and that's it. Our old RSM of the 1st Battalion, Previous July, always trained you. Discipline is like carrying out of an immediate order, and then you question after. So that's why a soldier, you don't have time to be scared. You carry out the command.
Yeah, if you're well trained enough,
Yeah, that's exactly, you're brainwashed.
your brain takes over.
You're brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
If a soldier got too much time to get scared.
What did you experience going up to the beaches on D-Day? Do you want to take a break and have some water?
Yeah, I better. Well, you're, it's like a bad dream. You see things going on, soldiers landing and getting shot, and makes you think of what's going to happen next.
Why don't you take your,
Yeah, go ahead. We can take a break.
yeah, we'll just pause.
Good thing we've got our water handy.
Yeah.
I have mine too. Are you thirsty, Alan? Are you okay?
I think the worst thing I've seen on D-Day, the Germans had a lot of these, I call them hedgehog, crossed metal posts, and your boat would run into, and they had mines on it. And like I said, I wasn't on the very first group. We've seen some of our own soldiers that were killed and laying in the water, and they carried these phosphorus grenades, and something that set these grenades off. You can see the water go over the top of the body. You see the fire before, and when that water went over, be on fire. It kept burning while the water was on top of that body. Or just relight when it came up.
And then you know you're going in for some of the same stuff,
Well, you try to think of something else.
I guess.
And you know that you may have seen pictures. There's 2 aircraft that flew over the Canadian area of the D-Day. There was a book written about the German officer that he slept in and he got away late and we're already landed and he flew over. We were right there. He dropped a couple bombs about a mile away from us.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I got my name in the longest day. There's a book written on the longest day. I'm in the index. There's nothing written about me otherwise, but I'm in the index.
Was the action still pretty heavy when you landed on the beach?
No, it was pretty quiet down there.
Because the Canadians had reached their objective on D-Day. What day did you go in? Were you actually going in on June the 4th?
No, I went in on the D-Day.
June 6th, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was captured on June the 8th.
So you did land on the beach on
Yeah.
June 6th.
Oh, yeah.
So there was still a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
And you were on Juno Beach.
Yeah. And we'd have been okay. I say that now, I shouldn't have. If that sergeant major hadn't taken us into the wrong position, we didn't have a fighting chance. there were 6 of us in a carrier with ammunition and everything. And he took us up to the, what's the name of that road? It's a place we were trying to fight to. We didn't get there for D-Day. But the railroad and the road ran right on a big bend and then went heading towards...
I'm sorry, I can't recall it either.
I should know it. Geez. Anyway, he took us right up on that highway and the Germans were dug in behind the railroad. So there's a tank there and it blew up our carrier. 6 of us. 4 of us landed on the right-hand side. The first shot took our track right off because the driver swerved. The sergeant major and the driver got blown off on the left side. And there was a wheat field, big wheat field there. Unknown to us, they got away. They crawled in the tank tracks and they kept low. And the sergeant major got shot in his rear end. He's a big guy, and I guess his rear end stood up and the bullet went through. He got away. They got away. And I thought they were killed. I always thought till after the war they were gone. Anyway, to make a long story short, the Germans crawled out from their position after we got blown out of the carrier and lay in there and come over and shot the 2 guys that were really badly wounded and took me and this Jack guy prisoner. And Jack had it's funny how a piece of shrapnel had cut his eyebrow and it hung down over his eye. I thought his eye was gone. I bandaged him up with a shell dressing and got him on his feet. And that's, if I hadn't, I'd have shot him too.
So they killed 2 guys that weren't able to make it on their own.
Yeah, they were badly wounded. They were pretty well out of it. And that's the first time I've seen a man shot at close range. Just like you shot him in the forehead. It's like you took a fork and stuck it in an apple, you know that sound? That's like,
Must have been very disturbing.
and we spent just about all June and part of July in the front line. I seen more action after I was prisoner of war. I was shot at and strafed by our own people, carrying the dead and wounded Germans out of the line.
Oh, they had you working for them.
Yeah, I milked cows for them.
Just before we get to that experience, I just wanted to ask you what happened when you got to the beach. So did you get out of your landing craft in the water?
Yes.
You had your kid on your back?
Yeah.
How did you prevent yourself from sinking in the water?
We were very close. We were at the time the tide was coming up.
So you could just walk right in?
It was about, I guess, well, we were so excited, you know how deep it was, maybe up to our knees, but yeah.
And then you walked across the beach, or did you run for cover?
We were running for cover, yeah.
Yeah, and then you found cover. Where did you find cover? Where did you first go?
It was houses to the left of us where we went and took cover.
And at what point did you get picked up then in the tracked vehicle that you were in?
That was all on the 8th of June. We had everything our own way pretty well. The Germans were pretty well beaten off the beach. We had that all under our control. And
so just from the 6th to the 8th of June then, you just dug in?
8th of June, all hell broke loose.
I see.
That's when he brought up his armor. And our tanks were a little slow to build up and were outgunned. The Germans had a wonderful 88 gun. They destroyed our tanks pretty well. We outnumbered
was
them.
that the one that shot the Moaning Minis?
No,
That
the
one?
Moaning Mini was a mortar that fired up. 88 was a gun they used for direct fire at high velocity, and they could use it for aircraft too. Wonderful gun. I hate to say it, but it was.
I wonder why the Germans didn't win the war with all that great equipment they had.
We had better soldiers.
Yeah. The Canadians in particular.
Yeah, that's what we believe. We're brainwashed.
So then you were taken prisoner of war. How were you treated?
Not bad, except for been under fire from our own people and starving. I must have weighed about 165 when I was taken prisoner, and I just made it to the end of the war. We marched about over 1,000 miles on the road from Krakow to Lubeck. And that's a long way. You look on the map.
Yeah, you were part of that long march.
Yeah.
So before that, they had you working for them the whole time, or were you at some point taken to a...
Well, we were back at the lines. We were kept in an old cow barn right about 500 yards or maybe 200 yards from the front line. And when they'd get shelled or something would happen, they'd bring us forward to take the wounded and the dead out of the trenches.
Did you ever have a chance to escape?
Well, no, I never thought too much of it because I couldn't speak German. You didn't get much of a chance to. On the train, we spent 23 days on a train after I was taken to. I seen Paris, I seen the Eiffel Tower. I was a mile away from that, and they put us on trains and took us to Krakow. Krakow's in Poland, and sugar beet factory. That's where I worked in the sugar beet factory.
So
and
they
them
took
darn
you out
Germans,
of... Go ahead.
them darn Germans owe me some money yet. There's 3 marks a day and a bottle of lemonade they were supposed to pay us, and all the sugar we could eat.
And they didn't.
Well, they give us the sugar, but you know one thing about sugar? You eat too much of it, it gives you boils and pimples and too hot for your blood system. And 3 days after New Year's, they put us on the road. The Russians come and chased us out of there. And a route march, when I come back to train with the baby Salai, a route march means nothing to me. I could go 50 miles out.
So you're in top shape, only undernourished.
That's right. And you know how we kept eating? The Germans do a lot of this turnips, potatoes. They put it in the field in big piles, and then they put straw over it, and then they put a little mud. That way it keeps for the winter. And when we seen one of those piles in the field, we'd go right over there. They'd be shooting at us and hammering away, most of the time in the air. And we left, there wouldn't be one potato left in that field. Just about killed me at the end, though. We ran into, I'd say, about a couple 100 miles from where we were going to Lubeck. There was onions in the field, and we ate them, and they'd been touched with frost. And of course, it makes you sick to your stomach, in bad shape. And the good thing, the guards and the German people, we had people with us too that were riding on these hay racks.
Civilians.
Pulled by a tractor. And you know how they got the gas to run those things? From the farmers fertilize. Cow manure. Them Germans are smart, by golly. They could get gas, make gas and run these farm machines.
How about that?
Pretty clever.
Was the work hard? Did they work you hard?
Well, when we were at the sugar beet factory, no, it wasn't bad. I worked in coal mines and on the tracks, with repairing.
They had you in coal mines too, hey?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't actually a coal mine, it was dumped like, and we transferred the coal to where they wanted it.
You weren't underground.
No. I don't like underground. That's one thing I don't know how high it is, but. Yeah.
And so did you feel like you were pretty unhealthy by the end of being a prisoner of war?
I just made it because with that dysentery from
the onion.
Yeah, and I really had a bad scare. When we came to this prison camp at Lubeck, there's a great wall wired in place, and they put us into these It was like a steam place. And you went in there, they're cleaning us up, eh? New clothes from the Red Cross and that. And we thought, we'd read about or heard about Belsen, you know, the gas chambers.
Belsen, yeah.
And that's what, you hear that gas or the steam from the,
Oh, so
you think it was getting gas, yeah. So that was the first night. They cleaned us all up. Next morning we're in this, no guards. The next morning they're all gone. And all of a sudden a big British tank come crashing through the barbed wire. And you had these white loaves of red through it, just like cake. Of course you couldn't eat too much, you'd get sick.
Did you have a sense the war was coming to an end?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
How many other people were with you on that march?
There was thousands of us.
And everybody just kept walking, one foot in front of the other.
They had, yeah, but some of them were better off than us. There was, remember the Battle of Trobuck?
Yeah.
They captured North African, I think you call them African, they're partly Germans or Dutch. The whole regiment they captured at Trobuck. Rommel did that. They were in the same prison camp as us at Lubeck.
Oh, I see.
They were, must have been there about 3 years, so they had good equipment, lots of clothes, and they spoke German.
So you weren't treated as well at Krakow? You weren't treated as well
No,
at
not as
Krakow?
well as these other people, no. No.
What did they feed you?
Well, we had lots of what you call Ursa coffee. They had big gallons of it. Not real coffee, it's some kind of a thing, but it filled you up. That's why your stomach would be shrunk up. You'd drink a lot of that to keep you. And we got Red Cross parcel once a month for 4 people, which wasn't very much. But there's cigarettes in there. And we used to trade the cigarettes to the Germans for eggs and milk and stuff like that. When you got caught, they'd shoot both of you.
Is that right? Did you know anybody that happened to?
No, I don't.
No.
But some of them, if they ever caught us, they'd shoot us too. We used to cut the cigarettes in half and wedge up the bottom. They come in a can, and there's holes in the things, and the cigarettes went into that hole. We cut the cigarettes in half and blocked the other bottom up, and you're getting half a cigarette. Well, you have to live by your wits.
Did you befriend any of the guards?
Yes, some of them are very good. There's a lot of, I should say, French, Czechoslovak, and Polish turncoats that were guards.
Oh, I see.
A lot of them are wounded on the Eastern Front with the Russians, and they made them guards.
So they weren't necessarily or SS soldiers, or they weren't the
No, they
brutal...
weren't mean to us, but they had no way they were going to get treated roughly by somebody at the end of the war. They couldn't win,
Yeah.
a lot of them.
And did you ever know anybody who tried to escape?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Did anyone
That-
succeed?
Mostly they escaped on the train. Like I said, we're on 23 days on the train from, heck is that place? To Krakow, anyway. Because the train would only make so many miles and have to stop. And they had barbed wire on all the compartments. And when the airplane would come, the guards would run off. And they had dogs, and they'd leave us, you see. But we couldn't get away, and nowhere to go. And the French people, while we're going through France, would come down and give us water. That was July weather. That's very, very bad.
What were the living conditions like on the train?
Terrible.
That must have been one of your worst memories, that
Yeah.
train.
There's a couple of Americans escaped. You know how they did it? They had spoons, and they took the spoons and wore a hole through the wood in the bottom of the train, and then dropped out on the train, let the train run right over the top of them. Got away. Yeah. And the big colonel, an American, he thought this up, you see. When he went, his turn to go, he got wedged in, he couldn't get out, and the Germans beat the heck out of him. Poor guy.
Is that right?
Okay. And the Typhoons, you've heard about those airplanes, eh?
Yeah.
They could fire these cannons. It's just towards the end of the war, they really developed a way. They'd come down and they'd shoot their cannons and go through the top of our things and hit the engines. They knew we were aboard there, but they're trying to knock the train engines out. And the way for us was to lay flat on the floor so it wouldn't get hurt. They knocked out quite a few trains over there. That didn't help us, and it slowed us going where we're going.
You probably would have rather got off that train.
Yeah.
When you were marching after so the Russians came into Poland, that's when they had to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What was the weather like? Was it cold?
It was a very good winter. It was very light snow, and when you're walking like that, you keep warm, eh? I wore my shoes right out. I wore the soles right out of the shoes, and they give me clogs, wooden. Shoe was the same, but a wooden sole, like the Dutch.
How did you find those? Were you able
The
to
Germans,
walk in them okay?
The Germans give us, yeah.
And you were able to walk in them okay?
Yeah, clogged away, yeah.
Is that right?
And when I got sick, they took pity on me. I was like 50 miles away from where we were going, and let me hang on to that hay rack. And
So how did it feel when you ate your first meal after that?
oh, great. We had 6 meals a day. Like I was
6?
going to say, they flew us. I got liberated on 23rd of April. And they flew us from there to Croydon Airport in these decks, crowded us in. And I think it was the second aircraft, there was a tower, the big towers there. It crashed into one of those towers and everybody was killed. And they took us away to Crookham Crossroad. There's a hospital way up on a hill. And that's where they fed us 6 meals a day. Bacon and eggs, anything we wanted. And a grouchy old English matron. She said when D-Day, or V-Day?
VE Day?
Come, you guys are not going down to that pub. Of course we sneaked down to the bottom. There's a hill, eh? And we was too drunk to get back up that hill. And she had us doing extra work in the hospital.
Where were you on VE Day?
I was in the hospital.
You were in the hospital.
Yeah.
Was there a big celebration?
Yeah, there was, yeah. Yeah.
How'd it feel at the end of the war?
Oh, it was good to get home. And like I said, I went back on the Ile-de-France, and there's what a difference sailing in broad daylight. And
Under no threat?
yeah. The worst part was going over, we had a lot of American soldiers aboard, and them guys are seasick all the time. Oh, and we're in hummocks, And you never seen in daylight because you're always going full speed. And we went to North Atlantic run. Seas are very rough.
Have you done it again since? Have you been overseas again?
Well, I was over to Normandy on a tour, yeah.
You did go back to Normandy?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we flew over. And we went on that channel, or whatever you call it, there across.
Oh, the Channel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, things have changed over
Yeah.
there, hey?
That's right.
70 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you got home and there was a big homecoming for you?
Yeah, there was. Where I come from, in Selkirk, Manitoba, well, I live outside on a farm. We live 2 miles from the Red River. And along that Red River, the settlers are mostly what we'd call them now, they just got their rights to land and all that.
Métis?
Okay?
Métis?
The Métis, yeah. They got their land right. Very good people there, but mostly Scottish fathers, Indian women, or Irish, and what you hear Halls or these different Scottish names, you know, and here'd be a dark Indian fella, Aboriginal, you gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, right.
They're great people, those are our neighbors. And a lot of them got killed at the up as soldiers.
Oh, the Aboriginal soldiers.
Yeah. And the worst thing was those, you mentioned the Winnipeg Grenadiers when they went to Hong Kong. They weren't trained, they were just a bunch of young kids and old guys.
They had a bad time of it.
Yeah.
Well, and the experience as a prisoner of war in Hong Kong, I think, was quite different than
Oh, they poor
Poland.
guys, they suffered from lack of food and
brutality.
very brutal treatment. The Americans, they're that way. They're very, have no thought of life. They just deal with you as you go.
I think they have a principle that it's not honorable to surrender.
That's
So
correct,
they treat
yeah.
you less than human in Asia,
Yeah.
at least at that time.
They changed their mind towards the end of the war. The Americans captured lots of them then. When they,
Yeah, terrible war in Asia.
yeah.
Well, and there you went volunteering for Korea after that.
That's right, yeah.
So you've
I
had a
had
little of both.
I had about 6 months of, I wouldn't say freedom, but I worked on the Red River Dredge summer. It was very good. Good, hard work.
Well, you certainly made your contribution to Canadian military history.
Well, I figure we're lucky to be where we are.
You sure are, or we all are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was wonderful, George. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
That was, we got 2 for 1 there.
I hope
That
I
was-
didn't wave my arms around too much or...
No, you were
No,
great.
that's-
It was fantastic.